apparently they had Serena Williams' husband on the first take, and he came for Stephen A.
Also, too, Stephen A. Smith, I think you had some marriage advice for me. Is that right? Or
Oh,
well, you know
yeah,
what?
I remember.
Listen, I did it. People, headlines are headlines. We can get into that another time. But I
was hoping you were going to be here.
I'm not. Oh no, I am not qualified. Married? Right. Oh no, not me. Well, I ain't qualified, my brother. I'm not qualified.
I was going to ask because you hadn't been married before, right?
I am married.
No, see. Okay. Yeah, because I give advice to plenty of founders who want to build billion-dollar companies, and the reason I do that is because I build billion-dollar companies.
Yeah.
So I generally try to stay in my lane as advice.
Then we'll talk marriage advice later. We got Alexis, thank you very much. Athletics NYC 2-night event.
Nah, that's 1-0. That's game series. This one is over.
Now, Stephen A.
Home.
Now, Stephen A., if he'd have stood up and slapped you right there after saying that,
2 episodes
how would you
later,
respond?
2 episodes later, I'd have slapped his ass back.
We'd have been in there fighting on air.
Well, I'm actually glad that y'all said that because he then went on his podcast.
No way.
You're
no
lying.
way.
You're lying. No.
Well, and I understand y'all's sentiments. I really, really do. Because I would be like, yo, Stephen A. went on there and said some nonsense and backpedaled and did all this different stuff. I would be looking at him extremely strange. But he didn't. He did not do that, in fact. So you heard him stuttering, right? He pulled out the Adam Silver card.
Mm-hmm.
Did the Adam Silver card. He did this on his podcast.
Glad that it didn't escalate or anything like that. He is her husband. He loves her dearly. They have 2 wonderful children together. And I have absolutely no issue with him whatsoever wanting to address that situation with me because that's her husband. And I certainly meant no disrespect towards him at all. I was just saying that men, knowing us as men, if we're married and our wife is showing energy towards anybody else, even in a negative way, we're asking ourselves, if you're happy, why show that energy? That's it. But that's all it was. But I wasn't going to get into it on national television. I'm a professional. Now, if it had escalated and he wanted to get into it more, we'd kept the cameras rolling. I'd have said fine. But he was saying you wasn't married, right? So, you give him marital advice. That's how he framed it. And he says, I give advice about building companies because that's what I do, essentially implying that I'm not married, so who am I to say something like that? I'm saying paraphrasing. I think that's a fair comment on his part. I don't have to agree with it, but I took no offense to it, and if I had been in studio and that was something that he wanted to broach, I would have reiterated what I said, maybe in a more respectable manner than my initial reaction after Super Bowl Sunday when I was just having fun. But that's neither here nor there. The point is that I respect him. That's her husband. That's his wife. And evidently, he didn't like what I said. I respect it, and I wish him and his wonderful wife, who I think is the GOAT, greatest female tennis player of all time.
You know what? In my personal opinion, man, let's really have this dialogue because there's it's the way that Stephen A. apologizes that it goes from it was a lose-lose to nah, you made it worse. Like for me, I'd have been like, I'm not married. Fair point. We have the discussion in person. We didn't mean any disrespect. That's it. But it's the fact that he wants you to know. So he'll drag that along for an extra 40 seconds just so the viewer, that he's not a pussy. And it's just like, yo, gang. Honestly, we was going to think what we think regardless. All you had to do was sit there and just be like, yo, I mean, if we was in the studio and to talk about it, we could have talked about it. But I ultimately didn't mean to disrespect you. I still feel this way, but I didn't mean in a disrespectful manner. That's it. And I know that's what he overall said, chat, for my Stephen A. viewers out there, or hell, even Stephen A. himself. But dragging that for 2 minutes just so you feel just so it comes off oh yeah, he ain't puss. All right, man. It's
and if I was in studio and he wanted to get into it, and he did want to take it there,
that's what I'm saying, bro.
I would have just retaliated with the cameras on.
Yeah.
It's little things, man. I was honestly astounded with like the way that he took it. Pause. It was just fine. Like he was giving a great response. It didn't seem too crazy. And then it's just a little jabs to let you know I'm still Stephen A.
Yeah, that's what it is. You're saying it better. He has those. I'm still big A. I'm still big A. Yeah.
It could have been left that I was just coming from my point of view. I could be wrong. I just believe this. We can leave it there. You have to throw in the, but if you wanted to escalate, if you wanted to,
I could escalate it as well.
I would have met you right there in the middle. On air. That's basically like saying you're lucky I wasn't. You might as well just say you're lucky I wasn't there, because if you wanted to get up, I'd have got up with you. Like you might as well just go full negative at that point. Don't sprinkle the negativity in there. Nah, stand on your nuts.
Yeah, and you know, I'm gonna be an adult and give a real adult response here. I'm not gonna lie. This is what Stephen A should do and be professional and all that other stuff like that. Why people are clowning Stephen A. Smith? Because there's just such a difference as to how he handled this situation versus the LeBron situation.
Yeah.
It's just such a difference as to how he handles this situation and the situation with T.O., with any situation with Max, with a lot of situations that he's had to deal with online. This is just, it's much different than how he's had to deal with any situation. So I just wonder why this time it was so different. Can't help but think who the guy was, played a part into it. Hate to be that guy, but billionaire white dude, Stephen A. Smith, comes off real docile compared to him. Real docile. He's not taking it to LeBron James or any of these other guys like this. It's just not Stephen A. Smith like behavior. It's just not, and that stuff. And I've seen people get called out for stuff like that. Oh, y'all talk about so and so, but when so and so get in the space, when so and so get in the conversation, then your whole tone changes. That's just so weird to me. I would respect Stephen A. if he was just a dickhead, full stop, universally. But when people hit him with the "you not a player" thing, that same analogy, they've hit him with that same "you not a player" analogy. All of a sudden, he's got so much to say. Why you can't? Why you didn't hit him with the? But I've been in relationships, so I could talk about why you didn't hit him with that.
Yeah, there were people in the chat keeping harder for Stephen A. than Stephen A. himself. He could have been like, "I have kids, bro." like you'd be like, "Yeah, I guess I'm not married. I do have kids though." So I get like I would like, and Stephen A's creative. If there's anything, I would have been like, I could shit. I guess I can't, talk about billion-dollar companies. I can't talk about this though, and you can make the attachments to something. Again, I agree with you. I'm not asking Stephen A. to crash out on the internet like how Twitter people want him to do. I'm not asking him to be a fake gangster, because then all the gimmicks would be is, oh, here's a guy trying to act hard and he's not. What I'm asking for is, man, just the cycle of someone presses you, you nod your head, and then go to the pod and just have this unfiltered thing. I understand maybe it's an ESPN thing and he can't do that, but there's creative ways to get around it. Has to be to the point where you can like, it doesn't have to come off as if when people are on your platform on ESPN or hell, even in general at basketball games, you're gonna be one thing and then you'll go to your domain and be another thing. It's not a fan for me personally.
Yeah, I'm not rocking with that. And let me say this now. I bet not never ever hear Stephen A. Smith step to anybody ever again with the same type of fervor and vibrato that he said step to LeBron or anybody else. I better see him handle every single situation like this going forward. And I think it's also interesting because he just don't be thinking people gonna come on the platform. And he be saying stuff thinking that people ain't never gonna come on the platform. They be coming on the platform. But ultimately, I better not never see Stephen A. Smith jump out of pocket like he did, because he was wrong. But I just better not never see him jump out of pocket ever again with anybody. Full stop.
Killers, like, it's definitely one of them lighthearted topics until the person that's involved didn't take it as a joke. So I'm not even mad that he apologized. It's just, yeah. But that LeBron stuff, man, I don't know if y'all have been paying attention. I haven't seen First Take recently, but I've seen clips on Twitter. Man, he's letting the hate go. He does not care no more. That's how I know he can like have these witty comebacks for people that are like pressing him. He's just choosing not to do it.
It's the subliminals and sneak disses to Bron.
Yeah. Like anything is correlated to the GOAT debate. If it's not correlated to the GOAT debate, he's kind of like pushing Skip-esque agendas. I seen one time he was like, if you have a bad game, we know why, off of the Henny commercial. I was like, all right, dog. Like that is dead what Skip would say. Is LeBron drunk? What are you doing? That's literally out the Skip playbook.